All right, welcome everybody to today's training session. And thank you for showing up on this incredible Sunday. Well, it's very nice where I am, but I digress. Hello, welcome, and I hope everyone's having a great day. Sorry I couldn't make it last week. Uh, I've just been really, to be completely honest, I've been in and out of the doctors, getting a bunch of blood work done. I don't know, something's going on with like my liver or something. The levels are off. I'm still going back and forth, and now they're like, oh, it's blood pressure. I'm just figuring it all out. So I've been really under the weather. So sorry for missing last week, but I am slowly just resting and coming back and whatnot. Cool. So kind of fill me in, everybody in the chat right now, where you guys are. Kind of where you are personally. Hey, Jolene, I know last week we talked, things were, pieced together for you really well. Better at least. Let's see. Just finishing training components. Okay, cool. All right. Count one but right to launch. Conversion ad sweet. All right. Okay, cool. So in today's training, what I really wanted to focus on was kind of get a rough idea of where everybody is, answer some questions, and kind of go over a few things that I've seen recently, like after going over, going through a lot of questions. Some people had kind of the same recurring questions, and I wanted to tackle those today because I see, a pattern, if you will, and I wanted to go over those. So I'm just going through the chat right now, seeing what everybody's saying, just in case I want to address something first. Okay, cool. So first thing is first, let's talk about launching today. So like launching your first campaigns, launching your first ads, and whatnot. So I'll share my screen in just a few seconds, and I'm going to start, kind of writing stuff and all that. But for the most part, before you launch, like I said before, like I've been saying previously, you want to make sure that you're warming up your profile first and foremost, and then you want to make sure that you're warming up your ad account or ad accounts that you're using. So before you roll out any type of conversion campaign, or before you roll out anything where you're starting to generate sales, you want to make sure that your business manager obviously is created. That's a given. And you also want to make sure that you warm up with a bare minimum of $50 in spend for engagement ads. And then you also want to, I like to spend around $75 to $100 warming up an account and doing it very slowly. But in the beginning stages, it's really, really important you do it a very certain way. So the first phase, like a lot of you already know about and have done, is going ahead and is boosting your posts through your actual profile itself, right? So that's important. Now I'm gonna just open up some of my one of my profiles here. Everything's just loading on my end, and I'm gonna show you what I'm currently doing for one of the profiles that we're warming up. Let's go to business settings real quick, and then I'll share screen. I just want to make sure everything's flowing smoothly. Okay, cool. So, all right. So as you can see, let me just go over here, share screen. Okay. So really important is that as you remember, actually I just logged into this after not being in here for, I think, about a week or so, because I've been just focusing on health and whatnot. And so I could see that it was running at $2 a day and spent $14. So roughly 7 days. Today will be the 7th day. So it's running at $2 a day. This account is not warmed up yet. But the one thing that you want to make sure that you do is you want to have as many ads approved as possible inside of your ad account in your business manager before you launch any type of conversion campaigns. Now, let me just go here, close that, it's not important. So The whole reason why you want to have as many campaigns approved as possible is because Facebook in their backend internally, they have a rating system for you, for your profile when it creates ads, right? So let's just say you have, let's say you roll out one campaign. Let's say, for example, I rolled out this campaign, right? I roll out this campaign and the ad in here, if it got rejected, then I have a 100% rejection rate on this particular profile that's rolling out ads, which is not good, at all. However, if I roll out one, it gets approved, I have 100%. I roll out two, it gets approved, still at 100%. Then I roll out three, maybe the next one gets rejected. Now I'm at 33% disapproval or 66% approval, depending on how you want to look at it. Roll out four, if one is still disapproved, you get the idea, right? So it's the ratio of approved ads that you have in your account that move, that allow you to get your ad from in review to approved fast. So, and not only that, but it also gives your ad account like a rating, a quote unquote rating, if you will. So the higher your approval rating is, the higher chance you have of that account not going down, period, not going down at all anytime soon. But if you're going out there and let's see, okay, cool. So yeah, so Brian said I spent 200 with like 25 approved ads. Is that solid? Yes, 100%. That's solid. That's really good. So, so long story short is you want to have as many, like I just said, as many approved ads as you can, spending the smallest amount of budget as possible. As you can see right in here, this is spending I think $2 a day. Yeah, so $2 daily, right? So, and I didn't edit any of the targeting or anything. But today what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to create a new campaign doing the same exact thing. I might even just duplicate this one, put more posts on the page, and just roll out another $2 a day campaign. So you're like, okay, well, this technically would make it really slow. You're right, it does make it really slow. But that's kind of what I want to talk about right here, is how this all kind of gets how it's all leading up to one, whoops, let me share screen again, how it's all leading back up into one massive campaign. So a lot of you have remembered or have seen the actual Facebook, when I went into the ads library, I showed you guys one of these campaigns that are being ran from certain people that I know. And so let me pull that up again. So Facebook ads library, let's see if it's here, if that's it. So yeah, okay, so this right here, okay? So they're doing very, very, very well. And what I'm going to tell you and let you in on is that they do exactly what I'm telling you to do here. And this is exactly what we do as well, is we slowly warm up the accounts. Now, the reason why we slowly warm up the accounts is because if you go right to opening up an ad account into running purchase campaigns, what's going to happen is Facebook's going to more than likely disable you. And so if you go and warm it up very slowly and progressively start increasing your budget, then you're going to have a very easy time staying alive. However, this is important, is that it might take you a longer period of time to get to that scale. So for example, it might take you 20 days to reach $100 or $200 a day spend. So you might have to spend, $10 a day for a day, then 12, then 14, etc. You get the idea. So what you should be doing is every single 24 hours, and again, this goes back to what I just said before, is every 24 hours, you want to roll out a new campaign. Okay, so do it very slowly. You don't want to roll out 20 campaigns at one time. Every 24 hours, you want to roll out a campaign. Okay, and you want to make sure it gets approved. However, when you roll out a new campaign, and let's just say the previous day you spent $10, you had it set to $10 daily. The next campaign that you roll out, you can have it set to $12. And so you want to compound it gradually, 20% every single day. And what you can start doing from there is you can start either shutting off the previous ones that you had, or you can go ahead and also increase their budgets as well, 20% every single day. So what I like to do is I like to go ahead and I like to constantly keep duplicating the campaigns, So if I'm in this particular ad account right here, right? So let me just go back here. And let's just say this was a actual conversion campaign. What I would do is I would just duplicate this campaign, go into the ad set, and then I would change the budget 20%. I'd just add 20% onto that. And so I will keep on doing that over and over and over again. But here's the thing is that eventually, if you have 5 campaigns running at over $10 a day, you're spending over $50 a day, probably close to like $65, $75 every single day. So that starts to compound really, really, really quickly. And you'll notice that you'll get to that $100, $200, $300 per day spend relatively fast. And obviously the sales will gradually increase with the spend as well. So it's not like it's going to take you that long to achieve a high spend or a high return. In the beginning, the longest part is warming up the account to make sure that you have the ability to do so. So it's a whole different ball game of warming up, because once you're warmed up and once Facebook's like, oh, okay, they're not doing anything fishy, they're not doing anything shady, the page is running good ads, the approval rate is great, awesome. Like they're not going to go ahead and they're not going to disable you at a $10 when you start off a campaign at $10, right? So what they will do is they will disable you if you go ahead and you start off the campaign immediately from the get-go at like $50 or $100 a day. All right. So before you run conversion campaigns, would it be good to do a lead gen campaign before that? But obviously after the initial warm-up you are talking about, that's a good question. So the higher on the objective chart you are, so the higher you try to purchases is like the end all be all, right? So that's what everybody goes for. So purchases are definitely going to be a lot more scrutinized than leads, view content, etc. So if you want to start off with leads first, get those ads approved, yeah, that's totally fine. That's also kind of in your favor because it builds up your pixel data. So you can build up lead data and view content data and potentially even purchase data if you get a lead to purchase from if you get a visitor to purchase from that particular campaign. So yeah, that would work perfectly fine. So let's see here. That's not a bad idea if you want to go ahead and run it that way. All right. I'm just reading some more questions here. Can we schedule a campaign or should they be built and launched on the same day? Good question, Kyle. You can schedule a campaign. As a matter of fact, I'm going to suggest that when I'm going ahead and when I created all the content, I suggest scheduling the campaign. So, all right, for a few weeks, yeah, also for getting emails too. So like having that run for a few weeks, even before purchase. Yeah. But again, Tim, that's the other thing is that it could be a little bit more budget intensive to do it that way, just so you know. Because once you have the pixel optimizing, once you have Facebook optimizing for leads, I typically will let it stay optimizing for what I initially set it up for. And again, obviously, let's just say I want to pivot from leads to purchases, I have to make sure it's justified with the amount of conversions that I have in regards to what I'm trying to switch over from. Because if I have enough data to do so, then I will. All right. So just going over here. So let's see. And Morris, I see the new AI program via YouTube. So yeah, so I talk about YouTube in a Super Affiliate Guild, but it's not with a AI program, that's for sure. It's with Google Ads / YouTube ads. It's YouTube is Google, so it talks about that strategy, taking a VSL and then running that VSL as a ad, but doing something to the VSL first, because its results there have been very consistent and better in regards to consistency and not getting shut down in comparison to Facebook. So I digress. Let me go ahead and actually break down. What is it? Wait. The AI they're talking about is AI voiceover. Wait, Tim says the AI they're talking about is AI. Oh, I'm not gonna give my opinion here because it doesn't matter. But yeah, okay. Yeah, let's walk away from that. So do you schedule your campaign for 12 a.m. LA time, or do you think there's a better time? Yeah, so I do go ahead and I schedule my campaigns at midnight. So 3 a.m. Eastern time / 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, California time, midnight, or Eastern time. If you're on the Eastern coast, that would be 3 a.m. Eastern because it's 3 hours ahead of Pacific time. So depending on when your time zone is, I like to set it for midnight California, where Facebook is located, because that's when everything resets on Facebook side. So everything resets, starts fresh, all of that. And here's something that a lot of people don't realize, and some of you may know this, but some that don't, this is kind of good insight, is that let's just say you start your campaign at 10 p.m. When it's 10 p.m. in California, right? So let's just say you set it to $50 a day budget. It will actually spend your $50 in the 2 hours remaining, in comparison to if you started at midnight, it'll spend it over the course of 24 hours. But if you started at 10 p.m. and there's only 2 hours left in the day, it'll spend all of your $50 in that remainder time that's left in the day, in comparison to restarting it at 12 or something. So just keep that in mind. Let's see here. Just going over some more questions. Right. Okay, cool. So that was a good question, Tim. All right. So here's just kind of like a few things that I want everybody to keep in mind. I have a more detailed document that I'm going ahead and putting in the members area with like the do's and don'ts when launching a campaign. But there's a few things that I want you to go ahead and kind of keep in the back of your mind when launching campaigns. First thing is first, I would suggest starting off the purchase. So obviously you go in, you create a new campaign, you optimize for conversions, and then you set your conversions for purchases. So I would recommend starting off, even though it's small, okay? Our whole goal here is to work up. Remember that, is to constantly keep adding more rather than starting big. So the first thing I would do is start the campaign at either $10 or $15. However, the daily spend on an ad set budget level. So when you're creating a campaign, you have the ability to go ahead and click create. All right, let me go to campaigns, click create. If you click on conversions, right, and you click continue, you have the ability right over here. It says campaign budget optimization. You have the ability to toggle this on and off. Just leave this off for now. Again, there's a lot of debate whether or not CBO is better than ABO. And to be fair, each ad set is created differently. Or excuse me, each ad account is created differently. So some ad accounts might perform better using the ad set budgets, and some ad accounts might perform better using campaign budget. But what's the difference exactly? So you see how this right here is a campaign level. See, these are campaigns, right? But the bid strategy says using ad set bid strategy. So inside of each campaign, there is what's known as an ad set, aka your targeting. However, this is where you set the budget. But if it was campaign-based optimization, you would set the budget for the entire campaign. You could do it lifetime or you can do daily. So when it comes down to CBO versus ABO, there's like I said, there's 1,000 ways to skin a chicken here. It's not. I don't want to say one is better than the other. What I will say is that I would highly recommend eventually testing CBO as well when you go out there. But I'm going to be a big advocate right now for everybody to start off on ad set budget. So the ad set itself is going to be the one that you set the spend to. Now, let's just say you have this campaign, right? And it's a CBO, so a campaign budget. You set the budget for the campaign. Let's say you have 5 different ad sets in one campaign, which you can have, okay? So how does it know where to allocate the budget to? Well, it's simple. With a CBO, and this is kind of the perk of the CBOs, is that Facebook will allocate your spend power, however much you have to spend on that campaign level. It'll allocate it to the best performing ad set. So if you have 5 and only one of them is generating all of the purchases and all of the engagement and everything, it'll actually allocate your budget to that one performer, and the other 4 will get, they'll get some spend, but they won't be Facebook's main focus. But if you focus on ad set budget only, then you only are, then each and every single ad set you have will, and whatever the budget is for each ad set, that's how much will be allocated every single day. So if you have $10 for each ad set, then $10 is going to be spent on each and every ad set, whether they're performing or not. So just keep that in mind. Now, the other thing is, you're probably thinking, okay, well, wouldn't CBO make more sense because then we can go ahead and have a higher win percentage? Well, and this is where the argument comes in, is that yes, that technically is the case, because Facebook does allocate your capital in that case to the highest performer, which means, obviously, that it's getting results. However, it doesn't give the other ad sets room to breathe. So essentially, it finds that one winner. And what if out of the other 4 that are, quote unquote, not winners to Facebook, what if maybe 2 of those are actually winners, but Facebook isn't allocating enough budget to them for you to even know? So then what? Well, that's where ABOs come into play, is that it's a fair distribution of capital to those ad sets, and you're going to know whether or not they actually are winners by a certain amount of spend. So again, very important you understand CBO versus ABO. I highly suggest starting off with, and I like ABOs. I also like CBOs. They have their place, but I always start off with ad set budgets rather than going out there and starting off immediately with CBOs. Do I roll out CBOs? Yes, I do. However, I only roll out CBOs, kind of once I have the ball rolling with a consistent amount of spend that I'm happy with every single day on ABO campaigns. Just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. So do you split test campaigns at lower budgets? Yeah, of course, always. So it's like exactly half split in the middle. No, I wouldn't say it's half split in the middle in regards to CBO, ABO. Let's just say I have $1,000 to spend. Out of the 1,000 that I spend, I'll probably allocate 80%, 70 to 80% to ABOs. And once I have like $500 spend and results, coming in, then I'll take then I'll create a new campaign, and then I'll run maybe $100, $200 in a CBO lifetime campaign, but I'll set the lifetime to 24 hours. So, and the reason I do that is because I want to basically have Facebook's back against the wall, being like, hey, I want the best results with this much budget in this amount of time frame. So then they, obviously the AI does what it does best, and it goes out there and finds the best possible individuals to purchase in that time frame that I allocate. So, okay, I see what you mean. Do I use the A/B function? No, I don't. I don't do that at all. As a matter of fact, it's funny because some of the guys that I talk to that are doing insane numbers in the affiliate space, the way they set up their campaigns is, first thing is first, they go against the grain in regards to everything that I'm saying here. They do it completely backwards. And they do it completely backwards because of the fact that they kind of have like the unfair advantages, if you will. And so some of their campaigns, what they'll do is they'll even go in and they won't even warm up the account. They'll start off spending $300 to $500 a day on a CBO campaign, and they'll have one campaign, but they'll only have one ad set in their campaign, and they'll only have one ad, like one creative in their ad set. And what they'll do is they'll take that one campaign and they'll duplicate that same exact campaign with the same targeting, the same ad. They'll duplicate it like 5 to 8 times. So at the end, they have 7 to 10 campaigns running at, let's just say, $500 a day on a CBO level with one targeting. They don't even mix up the targeting, and just one creative. They just essentially having to have a 100% success rate. Now, the reason why I tell you that is because I want to convey this point, is that out of the, let's just theoretically say they run 10 duplicated campaigns in one account, right? You would expect that they would all perform relatively the same. However, what I've learned from them and what I've seen them do as well when they're scaling is they'll actually go ahead and they'll go and they'll look at each campaign differently, because if they duplicate the same campaign 10 times, nothing changed in any of them, they let them run. In our heads, we're like, oh, okay, then they're going to get the same results across the board. However, 2 out of the 10 that they roll out might be home runs, and the other 8 just don't work. And so the reason being is because Facebook, they put us in pockets, right? So it's not like we choose a targeting of, let's just say there's 65 million people in the audience. It doesn't mean that that our ad or our campaign is going to be shown to 65 million people. It's going to be shown to a pocket of maybe I don't know, 10,000 people, maybe 5,000, maybe 3,000 people out of the 65 million. So, so each and every different campaign has its own pocket of people, right? So giving Facebook more campaigns to work with puts you in different pockets in the same audience. So let's just say out of those campaigns, each one was going ahead and hitting 10,000 people. Now, instead of just one campaign hitting 10,000 people, they have 10 campaigns hitting 10,000 different pockets of people in that massive audience. And so the success rate of having more campaigns built out that way is a lot greater than just having one. So, and I found that really interesting when they were going out there and building it that way. So aren't you competing with yourself if you do that though? And it's the exact same? Well, no, because I just mentioned that the way you're supposed to target with affiliate offers is supposed to be generic targeting. You're not supposed to be going out there and targeting or like potential reaches of like 1 million people, right? So you're supposed to go out there and you're supposed to and Facebook is the smartest AI, artificial intelligence, bidding auction system for advertisements in the world, period. So you're not competing against yourself when the audience is like 50 million, 65 million, 100 million. You can't compete with yourself unless you have millions of dollars to spend in ads. And again, I'm pretty sure nobody here is putting up like a $20,000 a day spend across 10 different campaigns. So you have to go broad. The reason being is because you have to understand that you're selecting. There's a reason why Facebook asks you to select what objective you want when you choose conversion, right? Because they know better than we do the type of people that are going to go ahead and take that action, which is the action of purchasing. They are so much smarter than us. It does not make sense, right? So on the surface, it doesn't make sense. But remember, we're targeting pockets of an audience. Will there be overlap? Yes, there will be. 100% there will be overlap. But is the overlap going to be massive? No, not at all. It'll be less than a percent of overlap, if there is even any overlap. So, again, like I said, is that if you roll out 10 different campaigns targeting the same exact targeting, using the same exact ad for 65 million people, the chances of actually going out there and competing with yourself or targeting everybody in that potential reach is highly, highly, highly unlikely. Highly, highly, highly unlikely. Probably, honestly, I'd say physically impossible because it's too broad. So just kind of keep that in mind. So let me see. So for that, would you do, I'm just reading a question. So for that, would you do really big interests like weight loss or just no targeting? No, I do no targeting whatsoever. No targeting. But here's the thing is that no targeting also requires a bigger budget and a little bit more patience. So there's targeting. If you're going to go ahead and use specific interests for targeting, then you want to go ahead and obviously not compete with yourself. So you're not going to be rolling out multiple different campaigns. But like I said before, I'm only giving you that as an example. I want everybody to focus on going out there and just starting off with low budget ABOs. And yes, you will be using interests. But as you scale and get bigger is what I'm trying to convey to you, that you're not going to need to worry about having interests. So for everybody here, we'll focus on creating ABO campaigns like this one, and simply going ahead and having some sort of targeting in there, men, women, or women specifically, and then the age range, which again I cover all this in the training and whatnot. So again, as you scale, you want to make sure that you have the ability to, first off, have the budget to make sure you can do no interest targeting. So that's really important. Okay, let's see. Just going through some more questions. All right, so day campaigns. Okay. All right, cool. Great. So again, this is really going to come down to going through the Facebook ad section as I put it in there, so you can really get a grasp of how you should be rolling out at a beginner level. And like I said, you want to make sure the very first thing that you do is make sure that the ad account is warmed up. The ad account has to be warmed up properly. So you have to spend, the more you spend on warming up, the better it is. But you don't need to go crazy with overspending on warming up your particular ad account. All right. So let me take a look at the chat. Now would be a great time to ask any questions that you guys have. So have you noticed the more targeted you go, the higher the CPM? Yes, absolutely. It makes sense, right? Because it requires more work for Facebook to find or no matter what platform it is, the more targeted you go, like let's just say you want to even go down to, you know, like a city, you want to target a city with a certain demographic of gender and age, that's going to be way more expensive than just saying Facebook, target the United States, target, you know, United States or women in the United States, and that's it, right? That's going to be way, 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 way cheaper than telling Facebook, hey, I want people in this city, or I want women in this city between the ages of, you know, 25 and 45, as an example. So again, the more targeted you go, the more expensive it's going to be. Keep that in mind. So, all right, so like, would you have, leave the male, female, one interest. If so, okay. Okay, so let's see. Is it okay if Facebook page and ClickFunnels domain have the same name? So Marvin, is it okay if my Facebook page and ClickFunnels domain have the same name? Yes. And the reason why I'm hesitating on that is because if your domain mentions anything like health or even if it, you know, health, fitness, if there's certain keywords in your domain, and even your page, it's going to get flagged. So just kind of be weary of that. So at what point would be the best time to go more targeted with, let's say you go female in between 35 and 60? The perfect time to do that would be when you're using low budget ABOs, exactly like what I just explained. How, like I would suggest everybody to target, you know, target interest-based United States women between the ages of, you know, 20 plus. So, and again, you're starting off at 5, then going to 7, 9, 10, 12, etc. It's not going to be, the CPMs, yes, will be high, but it's going to gradually build up the data that you need. So, but if you try to do that right off the bat, spending, you know, hundreds of dollars a day on an ad set, you're going to spend a lot in regards to CPMs. What is meant by account nickname when setting up account? So inside of ClickBank, once you create your account, you're brought to this weird little page where it shows like all statistics and whatnot. On the side, you'll have to create your an account nickname. Your account nickname is just an affiliate account because you have a ClickBank account, and then it's basically like a master account. So you can have as many account nicknames as you want under that ClickBank account. Your account nickname is the affiliate username. So as you mentioned, you would get into all the targeting stuff later. So at what point would you determine you should go even more targeted, knowing it's going to be more expensive? So you start targeting, then go more broad as you scale. Exactly. So you asked the question and answered your own question. So you start targeting and then go more broad as you scale. Exactly. So once the data is built up, once you have enough, once you have enough data, and again, this is more of a capital question than anything. Once you have enough capital and budget to spend on no targeting, then I would suggest going no targeting. It takes longer to optimize and more money in order to optimize it properly, but the actual results are a lot more consistent and a lot easier for Facebook to get, because again, you have to rely on Facebook's AI to do the hard work. That's what we're paying them for, right? That's why you're choosing purchase as a conversion objective. So, okay. Broad, great, thanks, welcome. No, it's not done yet, Travis. So this account is the one that we're using, and I took about a week off or so because I had to focus on some health issues. So I'll continue that. I'll actually continue that tonight, Travis. All right, cool. So does anybody here have any questions in regards to right now, what we've went over right now, let me know. I see some Q&A in the Q&A box. Okay. A lot of offers from ClickBank doesn't allow YouTube traffic. What are other sources apart from Facebook ads, please? What? A lot of offers from ClickBank doesn't allow YouTube traffic. I don't know any offer that doesn't allow YouTube traffic. I've never came across an offer that says no YouTube traffic allowed. I'll wait the chat. Thanks, Trev. Any question for the system? Message Ant about that, Jolene. I know he's spearheading all of that. It should be relatively soon, if not already happening. Yeah, I would ask him about that ASAP, because I know he's moving on those really, really fast. So okay. So no, it's Google AdWords you can't do on Revenue River offers. Is Revenue River a network? Let's go AdWords you can't do. So, okay, interesting. So no, it's Google AdWords. So when they say you can't use Google AdWords, it's because they're saying that you can't compete, because what a lot of people do is they'll compete on the brand keyword. So let's just say, okay, Revenue is research and Singa. Okay, so let's just say research, right? So the problem that, and again, no offer allows this. No offer allows you to bid on their branded keyword, because they do that themselves. So they don't want a bunch of affiliates outbidding them and competing with them. So let's just say you're promoting research, right? As an affiliate, you'd be able to go onto like Google AdWords and target people that are Google searching research and put an ad at the very top of the search results, and basically steal the affiliate commissions, because you're bidding on that keyword, you're bidding on the branded keyword. So again, no vendor really allows that, or no vendor allows that at all. So that's completely different than using YouTube, just so you know. So yes, Marvin, Digistore. Let's see here. What would you consider a beginning? Vincent says, what would you consider being a beginning? I think you meant CPM instead of CMP. Unless there's something, a CMP that I don't know about. Beginning CMP, that would be high for you, 50. So, okay, yes, CPM is right. Okay, that's what I thought. So a high CPM would be anything over $50. Like 80 is high, 70 is high, 100 is definitely high. Like 120 is high as heck. If you have really high CPMs, it's due to one of two things. So the first thing could be your targeting. It's very granular. So meaning that you're really hyper targeting a specific audience. The other thing is, believe it or not, CPMs vary from ad account to ad account. So you and I can have the same exact ad, can have the same exact targeting. Everything could be the same, down to the campaign naming could be the same. And I might have a $35 CPM and you might have a $90 CPM. So And that's the thing about, ad accounts, which is very strange. It's like it's like a very weird thing in Facebook is that not every single ad account is created equally. And that's also another reason why I always tell you guys, especially, when we have our one-on-ones, is I've told a lot of you that it's always good to have more than one account. It's always good to have multiple different accounts. And a lot of the times, the reason being is given the accessibility to be able to advertise whenever you want. But the other thing is that not every single ad account is created equally, like at all. So, like I just said, one account might be running the same exact thing as another account, and account A might have incredible statistics, even though account B is running the same thing. It might have double or triple the statistics. So again, there's a lot of different factors to this, but the one thing that I would tell you to look at or the two things I'd tell you to look at is the targeting. And the second thing I'd tell you to look at is the actual click-through rate. So your click-through rate, AKA how well your ad is crafted or catching attention, has a direct correlation to how much you're paying for every 1,000 impressions. So if your click-through rate is really low, then you're gonna have a high CPM. However, if click-through rate is like 5, 6, 7, 8% or higher, you're gonna have a really decent CPM. So again, I would take a look at targeting, and I would also take a look at the actual creative itself. Those are two really, really, really important factors. All right. Okay, just going through some more. All right, just taking a look at some more. Okay, cool. So I answered a lot of these questions that I was just talking. Great. So yeah, Marvin, I'll go ahead and I'll start suggesting to you guys. I was actually going to send out an email this week with a product suggestion on Digistore and the vendor on how to get in touch with him. Actually, two products that are doing decent, but they're not like crazy Metacore numbers. Metacore was like one of the first and only offers that did the type of numbers that it was doing. It was insane. But again, I'm going to be sending you guys an email this week with one or two offers, depending if the other vendor is still allowing people to come in and promote. So they're like quote unquote private offers. Put that in quotes, and then they'll set you up with Digistore and all that. So you guys don't even need to worry about ClickBank for these offers, because these are ones on Digistore. So anybody and everybody can go ahead and promote them. Or, well, not everybody, anybody, just people that know how to get access to the offer. Let me say that again. Okay. Cool. So if that's all the questions, I think I'm going to, let's see, awesome. Do I create my email list through ClickBank, or do I need to set up another provider? Or I went ahead and I covered this. Those videos can be found in the what's it called? In the lead gen section. I think it's component 4, if I recall. But I dive into that pretty extensively on how to link up and create lead generation and what to use and all that. So I know those videos are there because I spent like an hour or so recording and re-recording and editing a few of them. So they're in there. Thank you, my friend. Take care of yourself. Captain Worship. Thank you. Yes, I will. I focused a lot on my health this past week, because for somehow, some way, I guess it's true. As you age, things start to like break. So yeah, cool. All right. Any final questions? I'll give it about 2 minutes or so. See if anybody has anybody. Thank you, Jolene. Thank you, Aurora. If you guys have any final questions, if not, then I'll go ahead and end this and export it. Okay, Brian, I got you. Don't worry. I was going to go through it all today. Okay, guys. So if you have any questions, post in the community section. I'm going to be in there literally right after I'm done exporting this and editing this and putting it into the members area. I'm going to answer a few questions and then upload a few videos to the members area. And I'm going to get some rest here. Okay. Yeah, Tim, I think I got it. So I think, actually, I don't think I got it. I know I got it. I just have to go ahead and go in and read the email. So, okay, guys. Marvin. In the beginner section, the last video there is adding pixel to your page. So fine if we dive into component 6 for the wall. Yes, Marvin, go ahead. That's fine. Super welcome, Vincent. Okay, all right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this right here so I can export it. And I will be in the community tab in the next few minutes answering everything. But I will email you guys this week, and there's a bunch of content also being posted starting tonight. I have more videos to upload and edit. So again, I've just been slowly drip feeding you guys a bunch of content. I don't know if you've seen that, that I've been posting the 1K per day and also inside of the lead gen section and a few other sections as well. So I'm gonna end it right here. I'm gonna export this, and then I will see you guys all in the community section. Email myself, or if you really want a fast response, email Anthony. He's always inside of his email inbox. I like to focus on, you know, the actual being in the trenches. So yeah, with that being said, guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming out here this Sunday, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. See you guys. Love you all. Bye.